That beat goes hard. I don't care what anyone says. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you guys are listening to this and whenever you guys are watching this, your boy got energy, man. Maybe because it's Friday. Maybe because I'm off for the weekend. The workday is done. I can focus on other things.
She got a new girlfriend.
Okay.
Plural. Joking. No, I'm single. Anyway, so welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Next Up Fantasy Show. It's your boy, Will, back again with my two co-hosts, ready for another week, ready to talk. And there's a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and talk about, man, I'm kind of curious. Who should I start with? Should I start with the guy that's supposed to be on the college football game show, or should I talk about my guy over here at SoFi? Who should go first? I'm gonna go with let's just get it out of the way. Manny, what's good? How you doing, man?
What's up, everyone? And I want to apologize because I lost to Dre and I was talking mad crap. And I know you listen to the show. So I would want to apologize. I'm 0-1, but that's okay because I'm about to beat Will this week. So I'm about to be 1-1, beat Will, spank his little butt, get him going.
If there's one thing that you should know about me, there is nothing small about my butt. That's number one. Number two, when you were talking smack, let's do a little recap here. When you were talking the mess to our boy Dre last week, you were favored by about 11-12, right?
Yeah, the Jets defense, like, come on.
Okay, so and then from there you ended up actually losing. Okay, so right now I can solely admit that you are up because of a really great game by Justin Jefferson. And how did Jake Elliott do all those field goals? He did a 60-yarder in that game. So like the second question from there is
he missed
with the fact that all that happened, how's the rest of your team going to do?
Don't worry. Last week I benched Breece Hall. If I didn't bench Breece Hall, I would have won. The reason I did is because they came out and said he was going to be limited, which he was. I didn't expect him to go off like the way he did. So be prepared because my bench was outscoring my starter. So that's actually good for me, even if I'm 0-1. So just be ready.
Let's see how that mess talking actually goes, because one of the subjects that we have, I think you should really pay attention to.
All right.
So, Mike T, Mr. Mike Thesis, how are you doing this day?
Hey, man, I'm doing lovely. I didn't win last week either, so it happens. I wasn't really. Well, I was talking a little bit of shit. So I'll go ahead and have to take my lumps for that. But I played Will last week. I will say though, it was an okay matchup. I do believe if Joe Burrow would have fucking done anything, I would have probably won. But he didn't, and that's fantasy football. So I lost. I have to take that L on the chin. And now I'm playing Nathan this week, who has Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts, who both went off last night. So, hey, I want to let me off this is going to pinpoint to what I'm trying to tell my managers later on in the year. Sometimes you go through a patch and you just have to deal with it, but do not deviate from what you are doing. So we'll get into that later on, but because I'm dealing with it right now. But anytime the Cowboys can blow anyone out 40-0, that kind of makes me feel better.
All the emotional damage for them Giants.
Before we start, Mike did start DeAndre Swift.
Did he?
Did he?
Yep.
Okay, he had him on the bench earlier that day then, and he must have because I didn't check it right before game time. So he must have made a swift decision before game time and did that. So good for him.
I thought my punts were terrible. Okay, but in all fairness, I mean, like your quarterback scored more than my tight end last week, so you had a chance.
Me?
Yeah.
My quarterback should have scored. Quarterback should always score more than a tight end.
I ended up drinking the Kool-Aid for Mark Andrews being out, and I ended up putting in Isaiah Likely. I took him out because like there wasn't really anybody else that I really actually liked at that time, and yeah. Isaiah Likely, one catch, 5 yards or something like that. He was a horrible play, but just like what Mike said, we're going to talk a little bit later about what generally what fantasy football is all about in our point of views when it comes to the types of teams that you do. But first things first, we got to talk about, let's just call it what it is. Aaron Rodgers. Four snaps, and we hate seeing injuries. We hate seeing situations like this go down, especially with how much hype there was for the Jets this year. Like some people picked them to go to the Super Bowl. Some people picked Aaron Rodgers to make a really good comeback and become MVP this year. There was a lot of players on that squad that expected to have high hopes because of this man, but it only took 4 snaps, unfortunately, for him to pretty much be out for the year. Immediately, the question that I'm pretty sure everyone else here had, that I had, immediately the first question I had, and I want to hear Manny's opinion first. What does this do for the rest of the Jets players? What does it do for players like let's say Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, etc.? What's your input on that?
So I think regardless of Aaron Rodgers or not, Dalvin Cook was going to turn out to be the backup to Breece Hall. Breece Hall is a stud. If you saw the game, the dude's amazing. He's coming off basically a whole knee replacement, and he's doing work week 1. He shouldn't even be back yet. He would have had a touchdown actually if he was completely healthy, I think. You could tell he slowed down when he broke that, 90-yard run where he was going to score. And you got to give Garrett Wilson kind of a assist for that tackle because he starts celebrating way too early,
right,
instead of blocking. But I think Garrett Wilson is now – I had him as an elite, like he was going to be like top 5 receiver, that, in my opinion, this year. I think he drops to like top – 10 to 15 area. Like he drops pretty bad. So I think the wide receiver 2 category, which I have him in 2 leagues, so I'm pretty disappointed. He did have a touchdown, and if you're listening before Sunday, go try to trade him if you can. I've been trying to trade him in all my leagues because yes, I drafted him as a wide receiver 1 in some of my leagues.
So the question, I guess one of the questions, and I know my point of view of it, but do you feel that you can actually, it kind of sucks now, but do you feel that you can get the same exact value as far as a wide receiver 1 from anybody with a trade for Garrett Wilson?
We talked about him earlier, but I was trying to trade Garrett Wilson for T. Higgins. T. Higgins put up a goose egg, but he had 8 targets week 1, and you saw how bad Joe Burrow was. So I was trying to do a straight up Garrett Wilson because some people don't watch the games. They just see scores and saw that Garrett Wilson, that one-handed catch or the catch that he did. And they're like, let's do this. No, let's trade and get T. Higgins or Calvin Ridley or something like that.
Well, I mean, if they watch shows like these, then they're going to know that shouldn't be something that you do immediately as far as trades. There's a lot of papers. There's a lot of things that you can actually look at as far as different type of moves that you can make based on what did happen and what's going to happen.
Well, right now you could trade him high because of the touchdown, but he plays the Cowboys this week. Mm-hmm. See what the Cowboys did to the Giants O-line. The Jets O-line's probably one of the worst O-lines in the league. They're like Swiss cheese. So everyone's blaming the turf for Aaron Rodgers. How about you blame your O-line for being so bad? So just imagine what Dallas is going to do.
Jets fans, go down in the comments and bash Manny as much as you can. Gary V, I'm expecting you to do that. Mike.
Yeah, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. I still like Garrett Wilson. I know I know the quarterback production is, we think, going to go down. But Mike Lewis said that Aaron Rodgers was washed. So I'm going to go with Mike Lewis's opinion. And I'm going to say that I think Garrett Wilson is still talented enough that he'll be able to produce. He's still the number 1 option. Their number 2 receiver is not, to me, that great. So I still think Garrett Wilson will get a lot of volume. And I think Zach Wilson might be a little better than we give him credit for. I mean, I'm thinking that he possibly could have learned. Has had games where he's been decent, and I don't care if they win. I just want Garrett Wilson to score, and I think he's talented enough to get open. So I would still rock with Garrett Wilson, just because he's the number one receiver on the team, as opposed to. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like T. Higgins. I do think T. Higgins is good, but he's the number two, and I know that. And look how Burrow looked last week. Now, do I assume that Burrow's going to look like that going forward? I don't believe so, but even with Zach Wilson, Garrett had a better game last week than T. Higgins, right? So I wouldn't really make a move on Zach Wilson. I mean, on Garrett Wilson just yet, unless you can trade and get somebody crazy for him, which I don't think you'd really be able to do that at this point in the season. So I'm gonna say, for me personally, not saying Manny's wrong, but just for me personally, I would hold on to Garrett Wilson. I still think that he can be a top 10 receiver. I know he said 15. I think he'll squeeze into the top 10, even with Zach Wilson. But I don't know if I'd play him this week because you got them boys coming in town, and I don't expect him to do much this week. But going forward, I still believe in Garrett Wilson personally.
They need to get Joe Flacco on the line.
So it sounds like that everyone's
even DiNucci. DiNucci would be a savior there.
Why not? So I see. I'm hearing more concern about Garrett Wilson between you two, and nothing or not too much about Breece Hall. Manny, you did talk about the offensive line for the Jets. Do you feel that there's forget Dalvin Cook for a second? Forget the fact that I actually picked Dalvin Cook in at least one of my leagues. For Breece Hall, who I also have in a different league, do you believe that with his talent and with that bad of an O-line for the remainder of the year, do you feel that Breece Hall can actually shine in this offense?
I do. The talent-wise, he always had a bad O-line. That's nothing new for him. The problem I see with him, I could potentially, is they're going to box the line, right? They're going to stack the line and try to stop Breece Hall.
Breece Hall's been he's a bruiser, but he's also a pass catcher too. So do you feel that? So do you actually feel in theory that they have to box Hall?
I think they're going to try to stop the run. I mean, their O-line's so bad. Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers didn't have time to do anything that game. The big plays were because of Breece Hall. So I don't know. Maybe they changed some things. I don't see them. I think it's going to be an under type of game for the Cowboys Jets because the defenses are good. I give credit to the Jets defense. They're really good. So.
And I think that's going to be okay. Yeah, that's going to be the only thing that could keep the Jets at ease this year. Okay, Manny, I gotta ask, why the pullover? Is it cold out there?
Oh yeah, it's getting chilly. It's fall now. Let me see. I'll tell you what it is. I mean, you know how fall is. It's 59 right now.
50? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, it's like 90. It's like 92. Oh, okay, it's 80. It's 89 out here.
Time of the year here. Football, apple cider.
You know what? I'm gonna say shout out to Apple Orchards out there.
Yes.
In the Midwest. I've right before I came back out here, I ended up going to one and ended up getting all the baked goods and all that, as well as picked some apples myself. It's Mike, if you haven't done it before, it's actually kind of fun. It's actually kind of fire. It's a pretty not gonna say the most fun, but it is a pretty interesting event that you can do during the fall with the family. So
sounds dope. Definitely not knocking it. We don't have any apple orchards out here. Mostly
I'm not sure Temecula has that.
Yeah, mostly just orange groves. We have a lot of oranges. You can probably go pick some oranges with your family, but apples not so much.
out of Riverside, probably. Yeah, shout out.
The big ones you could pick apples. There's corn mazes. You pick your pumpkins. There's rides. There's apple cider, donuts, hard cider. It's ridiculous how
that sounds dope.
It's ridiculous how good that stuff is.
That's why we're all chunky in the Midwest.
I was about to say,
Shout out to the Midwest, man.
I was about to say, I'm probably going to gain a little bit more weight. Like that in the state of Wisconsin, that's what makes you big out there in the Midwest.
Yeah, you got to remember, man. I'm in Cali, and we got a lot of vegans out here. It's a little different.
Vegan juice bars, it's all in Cali. Like,
I'm not hating the vegans either. A lot of vegan dishes I enjoy, but I need
no, I'm not hating on vegans. Vegans are dope. There's There's
You gotta eat
good things.
meat.
Of course you are, Manny. Of course you are.
No,
they don't play that.
no. They can attack me all they want. Peter's going to attack me. I don't care.
Go. Blast him.
I had a big old steak.
To your heart's content. Yeah, well, you had a what?
A big old steak today.
Now, how do you eat your steak? That's the question.
Medium rare.
I dig.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
But I grew up in a household with cooked food, so I do tend to go. No, actually, medium well. I do medium well. I think that's like the maximum that I can go without fully going well. So medium well I could do, but medium rare or just medium and above is I'm also content with.
It's funny because like me, I think I'm just that kind of person, but like it doesn't matter if it's I won't do rare. I'm not gonna do rare. But anywhere from medium rare to well done, I'll eat. If somebody makes it, I'm gonna eat it. But if I'm like at an expensive steakhouse, I go medium rare myself. If I'm eating like at Sizzler, then yeah, I want that medium because I don't trust them. Like
medium rare at Sizzler is done.
Medium rare at Sizzler is done.
It's well done. It has.
Yeah, you're right.
God, shout out to those that used to go to their buffets on Sundays after church, just like me.
And I'm not dissing Sizzler at all. I don't want people to think like, hey, he's a high fan. I'm not dissing Sizzler, but that was the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, what do you say? I was about to say, what do we call?
I'm for all the people. I'm for. I don't want to be an elitist. I'm not trying to be an elitist. Love everyone. I eat McDonald's. It's all gravy. Top ramen. Will knows.
That's funny that Will. That's funny that Will says that because I feel like that's a thing. After church, you go right to the Old Country Buffet or.
That is a thing.
That's definitely a thing. Oh, it's funny you said Old Country Buffet. That's what my parents used to take me going to that buffet.
Do you actually remember when the Golden Corral opened in our city?
I do.
Like that. It was like a huge line. Like before, like during the regular lunch, during regular dinner, like all of that. We are not a food podcast, but if you do want to sponsor, I'll go ahead and put your signal right here. So whether it's Golden Corral right here, Old Town Buffet. What is it? Old Style?
Old Town Buffet, I think.
Old Town Buffet. Do they still exist?
Hometown Buffet, yeah.
Hometown, yes. Yes, Hometown, yes.
There you go.
But yeah, I'll put Hometown right here. I'll put Golden Corral right here, and whatever Manny's into. I'll put a big like steak right there. I'll put a cow like right in front of his face or something.
Yep.
For the entire show. So if that's what I gotta do, then you know where to find me.
Man,
so
I'm hungry, bro. This is my dinner time.
Now we're hungry. We're gonna take a 10-minute break. We talk way too much about food. All right, so moving on as we try. Like it was injuries galore this week, and for it to happen in week 1 was a little bit on the, I'm not going to say unexpected side because we never know when it's going to happen, but it's one of those things where it's kind of tough to actually maneuver and make moves when it comes to all of these type of injuries. We had Austin Eckler get a little bit bummed. Joshua Kelly's going to be the backup and is likely going to start. Mark Andrews is still questionable. I am not taking back likely. We have Christian Watson, Aaron Jones, who are likely going to not play. AJ Dillon, people, if you got him, definitely play him. Like I don't care. Like even if he does bad, just play him. You know how good he could be. CJ Stroud ended up being questionable this weekend, and there's one more that I can't think of that's on top of my head, but it was someone of more importance, but I can't think of it right now. J.K. Dobbins done for the year, and that one hurt because like I think a lot of us, especially with everything that he's gone through, like he has the talent, and I don't think there's no doubt in that. And now everyone's in the case of like, is it Gus Edwards or is it Justice Hill? Actually, you know what? I'll quick question and answer on that. Justice Hill or Gus Edwards?
Justice Hill, 'cause I picked him up.
Justice Hill only because you picked him up. Mike.
Gus Edwards, just from the past. Things I've seen in the past. Seems like for no matter what, there's always a way, and it seems like Gus Edwards always ends up being their guy. So Gus Edwards.
I got to go Gus Edwards too. For the same reason, Mike, and actually technically also the same reason with Manny, because I picked him up too. So there's them. There's the fantasy darling of last week, Puka Nacua, which we talked very vaguely about. And Mike knew what college he went to.
I did.
Like he ended up getting an oblique injury, so he might not even be up to par as far as playing. Tutu Atwell is going to be out there, so he did pretty well also. So pick him up if you got to. So I guess one of the questions was like, is there like based on any of those injuries or any injuries that's beyond there, is there anyone that you want, or is there anyone that devastates their team the most as far as like which one significantly messes up their team for week 2? Anyone want to actually I'll go first.
When you say team, are you saying fantasy team? Or
column A, like little column A, little column B.
All right.
So like both fantasy and both real. So my answer actually is going to be for both situations. In this case, I feel that Aaron Jones is going to be one that's going to totally mess up the overall vibe of the Packers, who kind of in general just needs help. Period. Christian Watson is unlikely going to play this week. Romeo Doubs, although he did well, he was a little bit injured. He was injured as well. He was expected just like Breece Hall, he was expected to have a limited amount of snaps, but that didn't happen. The man scored 2 touchdowns, but he's still kind of on the questionable side. And AJ Dillon, as good as he is, like they're going to need a little bit more experience in that Packers team as much as possible. And Aaron Jones was the perfect fit for them, and that could actually ruin not only people who picked up Aaron Jones in a late second, early third round this year, but also it's gonna hurt the Packers this week. So I mean, good luck to them. But I feel that it may be the worst case scenario for fantasy owners as well, because they have to look for somebody new for a RB1. Mike, do you have anyone on top of your head?
You're muted.
I mean, I would love to hear it, but you are muted.
Got you. My bad. I've children. I've children, so certain times I need to mute myself. But okay. I was gonna say honorable mention. Did you mention Brandon Cooks? Because he might be hurt.
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't see him as hurt. That's why
they're saying he had a slight MCL. He says he's fine, but they're saying he has a slight like kind of tweak to his MCL. So I don't know if it'll be Jalen Tolbert time, but we'll see if that comes into fruition. But as far as the guys you mentioned, I'm gonna say for me, Austin Eckler. Not because Joshua Kelly can't handle the load, because I think Joshua Kelly is really, really good and a great handcuff. And if you have him, it's safe to deploy him this week, I think, if Austin Eckler is not going to be playing. But I would just say for the draft capital, for where people took Austin Eckler in the draft, it kind of sucks for it to be week 2 and for him to be kind of banged up already. So just something that we need to monitor going forward. Like I said, I would say Austin Eckler for this week. That's all I got.
And it's all I got. I kind of have a feeling I forgot who the Chargers are actually playing this week. Let me see if I could pull it up. Anyone know on top of their head while I'm looking?
Chargers this week. Let me think.
Titans. Okay. No, it sounds weird, but
they have a great run defense. The Titans. So
I'm kind of thinking I don't know why, but tell me why do I feel that the Chargers can actually get upset this weekend against the Titans?
It can happen.
It's awkward. That's gross, but like Titans can find a way. I mean, Derrick Henry can ball.
Yeah, I mean, generally Kellen Moore, he kind of usually beats teams like the Titans, but I mean, it could happen. And I'm totally dismissing the head coach, right? I'm just going straight to Kellen Moore because that's who's running the offense, and that's the most important part of their team as far as I'm concerned. But like last weekend, how they lost like to the Dolphins. That's Kellen Moore type shit. And I enjoyed not enjoyed singing. I don't hate Kellen Moore or anything, but it looked very familiar. It was a song or a sequel, an episode I've seen multiple times where you score a lot of points, but when you really, really need to get it done, you can't get it done. So yeah, they should beat the Titans, but you're not wrong. They could definitely lose.
But for fantasy owners, we don't care if they win or lose. We just got to get them to score points. Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen actually did pretty well last week. Manny, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I have two, one for real and one for fantasy. For the real, like life situation or like NFL, CJ Stroud, because of draft capital they had week 1, and now he's hurt. I think our boy Davis Mills is going to be the starter if he's not playing, right? But as a fantasy aspect, you could go Aaron Jones, you could go Austin Eckler. Those are like my 2 back-to-back. Those are the top ones. But I guess a third would be the Puka injury, just because what people spent if you're in a FOB league to get Puka.
Oh yeah.
Or like your waivers, like you picked him up thinking you're going to be able to start him. You're probably hurt at wide receiver, and now you have to find another replacement in a short period of time. Also, DeAndre Hopkins is questionable as well.
And Trey Burks actually is in.
Mm-hmm.
So could this be the beginning of Trey season?
Let's go, Trey.
Don't know. But I feel you with all of those options. CJ Stroud, especially for real life, like it's like what like hell, can Davis Mills actually do it? He showed prowess. He's not terrible. It's just that he wasn't good enough to actually get it to keep the starting job. So fantasy wise, he's actually not that bad. And I do agree with you also with the Puka Nacua. Just like you said, whoever spent FOB, all that FOB on him, and he's going to be actually. I'm actually going to kind of also say a bold statement just based on where Puka was positioned in the whiteout game last week. He wasn't in the same position as Cooper Kupp was, and that's kind of important because like if Nacua was able to get 15 targets, not in the same position as Cooper Kupp, when Cooper Kupp comes back in, then Nacua could be the number, like right away, the number 2 behind Cooper. And he's not going to get 15 targets all day, but like with Cooper in, he can easily get like anywhere between 8 to 10 per game. And if he can catch at least 6 of those and with decent yards, then Nacua could actually be fine moving forward. So as difficult as Nacua's injury is, keep him. Like I still say keep him. If you're able to put him on a injured reserve list, then go ahead and do so. Otherwise, put him all the way down to the bottom of the barrel of your bench and just wait for him to come back and see if that comes into fruition when Cooper does get back in. So we'll go ahead and hop into the next subject. So there was a lot of anomalies last week for week 1. The top 6 quarterbacks that everyone was ready to actually pick up, or that did pick up very early in the rounds, everyone from, let's say, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. Well, Jalen Hurts, probably there's an exception because of what he did yesterday. Lamar, did I already say Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
So Mahomes, Jackson, Hurts,
Burrow,
thank you, Josh Allen, and let's throw. I'm not going to throw in Justin Herbert because he was decent.
Throw Fields in.
We'll throw Fields in. So I think that was the person I was looking for, Fields. A lot of them didn't do well. Patrick Mahomes did okay. He was able to get just under 20 fantasy points. But for the likes of Joe Burrow, for the likes of Lamar Jackson, for the likes of Justin Fields, like there was everything from Josh Allen. There was everything from turnovers to interceptions, fumbles, very little pass yardage, and they were kind of on the irrelevant side. None of them were top 10, with the exception of Patrick Mahomes. So I'm just throwing that out there as a general example of the next subject. So the next subject generally is who are you not worried about after their performances from week one? It could be any of those quarterbacks, but it could be anybody else that may have had like a very terrible game. And you should expect them to pretty much rise after this, because where else could they go but up? There's no way that they can repeat this. But who right away? I'm gonna start with Mike. Who right away jumps out to you saying that he's going to be all right?
Who am I not worried about after week one? I'm not worried about Joe Burrow. You guys know I love Joe. I'm not worried about Joe Burrow after week one. I just think that the conditions were bad, and it was just one of those kind of just weird games. The Bengals have kind of traditionally started off slow while Joe Burrow's been the quarterback there. I don't really know why, but for whatever reason, the first couple weeks they kind of find their footing, but they eventually get it going. With T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase, like there's really no other way to go but up. Those dudes are going to produce. He's going to produce. So I'm definitely not worried about Joe Burrow after week one. That would be my guy who I'm not worried about.
Playing against a still tough, I don't know how they're still tough.
The Browns always beat them too. It's just it was a weird situation.
Tough Ravens team week 2 that they play against. So it should be kind of a fun game. Michigan State, who do you got?
I would say the first people that come to my mind is the people I'm trying to trade for. And we talked about him earlier, but T. Higgins. The guy had 0 points. But he had 8 targets. And the one targets that, if you watch the game, the targets that Joe Burrow was throwing to him were nowhere near T. Higgins. He was missing them because it was wet. But that's who I'm trying to go get is T. Higgins. He's going to be a solidified, I know he's wide receiver too on the team, but he gets the most targets on the team. Jamar Chase is the deep ball threat. So T. Higgins, I'm trying to get him in every league. Also, I did say to start Jake Ferguson. He didn't do so hot, but he also had 8 targets. I'm keeping him. I'm holding on to him just to make sure it wasn't a fluke. He had 8 targets. The game was out of hand. And the backup tight end for the Cowboys dropped a wide open touchdown pass. So I think that's going to help Ferguson as well.
So overall, Jake Ferguson and
T. Higgins.
And T. Higgins. Okay, I could go ahead and actually agree with that.
The one I'm really worried about, though, can I just say his name is Drake London?
Well, who we're concerned about was going to be the next subject.
Oh, okay. Drake London.
Well, thanks for that. But on the opposite side, I'm actually going to give me just a sec. And dupe.
I feel like he's setting up something.
Just in case Mark Andrews doesn't start.
I'm not walking left.
It's okay. So you'll see soon. So the person that I am not concerned about actually is ironically the person that Manny is concerned about, and that's actually going to be Drake London. With Drake London, the issue is this is kind of how I see Drake London. I think all of us here can agree that Drake London is talented. I think we can all agree that he's the number 1 on as far as the wide receiver for the Falcons. The reality of what happened in week 1 with the Falcons is just the fact that the run was just working so damn well. Like, why would you stay away from something that's actually working that good? So that being said, it's not going to be every day, and I need you to get this emphasized. It's not going to be every day that Drake London gets 1 target in a game. I think Kyle Pitts actually had more than Drake London. And even with it being Desmond Ridder as the quarterback, there's once again no chance that it's going to consistently be like that. And even if he goes under, let's say it's not going to be consistent for him to have under 5 targets on a week-to-week basis. There's absolutely no chance. And because of that, like, I feel that moving forward, there should be a better expectation as far as what Drake London can actually truly do with even if it's just Desmond Ridder. So I'm not too concerned about Drake London right now, but let's actually go ahead and actually go back to Manny now to talk about who he is worried about. So the very same person that I just had their back on, I need to hear Manny say the totally opposite, and I need to hear why. So Manny, let's go.
Falcons are built to run. They're going to run majority of the game. You kind of saw it in week 1. They're not looking to be a passing team. Mm-hmm. So I feel like Drake London is not going to get the usage for a wide receiver 1. I have him. I mean, he put up a goose egg. And what's concerning, and I got to check, I don't think he got many targets. And that's what scares me. I look at, how many targets people get during a game. And with Bijan and Tyler Algier on the team, I mean, we saw it in the past with Kyle Pitts. Everyone thought, Kyle Pitts is going to be a stud. But guess what? They're a running team. That's their focus. They don't care about anything else. So that's what kind of scares me. And another one is Najee Harris. Najee Harris has, for the last 2 years, he gets a lot of attempts, not a lot of yards. And you got a rookie, Jaylen Warren, that actually looks really good. So be prepared. I think it might transfer to Jaylen Warren here shortly.
2 questions, or one thought and one question. Jaylen Warren's a second year.
Oh, second year, sorry.
And for as far as the running backs, if I believe it was the Falcons, but as far as the running backs and their target distribution, both I believe it was the Falcons that they stated that the target distribution towards both of the running backs ended up being 54%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's insanely high. And that should not be an outlier of what happens in the future. So that's kind of why I'm not too concerned about Drake London. Drake London only had 1 target in that game.
Yep.
So we're kind of going back and forth, but my general thought, I understand your side of it, but also at the same time, it's just that with everything that they did on week 1, it's impossible for it to be sustainable. That's all.
The problem is they played Carolina and their defense is not great.
Mm-hmm.
He got 1 target. This week, guess who's guarding him? Jair Alexander. You're not playing him. You see what Jair Alexander does to wide receivers.
Yeah, so I'll start Drake. I don't care. I'll do it.
CeeDee Lamb ate him up. He didn't do nothing to CD. I know that.
All right, so Will, I got Drake London in our league, so I'll be looking to trade him.
Give me something nice, and I'm not a pushover. Mike, who are your thoughts?
There's a couple of things, or people, or units, whatever you want to say, that I'm worried about. We talked about it a little bit last week. I'm worried about Kansas City's wide receiver unit. They looked abysmal. They looked horrible. And I don't think Detroit is a great team. I think they're a decent team, but just the fact that they were dropping passes, wide open passes. I worry about them, and I worry about their confidence because they're young guys, and I worry about Patrick Mahomes' confidence in them going forward. I'm also worried about Justin Fields. I love Justin, but I mean, I don't know, man. Like it doesn't seem like he's reading the field well. It doesn't seem, and I'm not a fan of DJ Moore or Mooney. They're little receivers, and Chase Claypool is horrible. So I don't even know if he has the weapons around him to be as successful as he's going to need to be for where people took him in the draft. So I'm a bit worried about Justin Fields. And I'm worried about Josh Allen. I know Mike Lewis is going to hate to hear that, but I am. And not so much from a fantasy perspective. He'll put up his fantasy points, but from a real football perspective, for the Bills to do what they want to do, man, Josh Allen has got to stop turning the ball over. Like, it's getting ridiculous at this point. Me and Manny have talked about it. Like, if Dak came out and had the same kind of game that Josh Allen had, like, he would be getting eviscerated by media. And I mean, I'm hearing it from a couple places, but I'm not hearing it like I would if it would have been Dak. So putting Dak to the side, Josh Allen has to stop turning the ball over. Buffalo will not be successful with him doing so. So those are pretty much the three biggest things I'm worried about after week 1.
One of the people I will agree with, one of the people I agree with, and it was going to be one of the people I was going to talk about, was Justin Fields. I think I forgot who it was that actually stated it. It might have been LaShawn. It might have been LaShawn McCoy a couple days ago, a day or two ago, who ended up talking about Justin Fields, pretty much saying that the wide receivers don't need the. I think I'm going to say it wrong. I think he said the quarterback doesn't need the wide receivers. The wide receivers need the quarterback. So when he said that, the thought pretty much hit that, okay, you got all the you now officially have all the weapons. You actually have decent pass catchers now. You have Chase Claypool, who actually may not actually no longer be on the team anymore after a little bit of scuffles here and there. You have DJ Moore, who was able to do multiple 1,000 yards seasons with the worst of quarterbacks playing in Carolina. And you also have Darnell Mooney, who, I mean, he's a good guy, but at the same time, it's like, do you really belong in the league? I hate to say stuff like that, especially with me being like what do they call it, an armchair owner. But you have all those players, and yes, you're a decent. Yes, Justin Fields is a decent runner, but your passing game has to elevate. There's no way that you can continue on to be the way that you are at this very moment and just have spotty games. And it goes back to what Manny actually talked about during the preseason with the capital. Like me and Mike were kind of in on drafting Justin Fields where he was at. Manny was a little bit more cautious about it, and week 1 kind of showed why. So I'm really concerned. I am concerned about Justin Fields, and the second person that I'm actually concerned about is actually Rachaad White. And Rachaad White has there was 2 things that was going on with Rachaad White. Rachaad White has the backfield to himself. He has all the availability to go out there and actually do everything that he can. Like a lot of fantasy people from the previous year was actually okay on him because he wasn't the greatest runner, but he was a hell of a pass catcher. So pass catching was his game. So for now that he has the reins, like he only ran for 37 yards this past game. And it's kind of genuinely concerning as far as what to expect moving forward with him. And Rachaad White is not exactly a person that I would honestly look forward to as far as fantasy. There's probably a way that he can actually make it better, but as of right now, I just can't see it. And I'm going to take a small break to see this terrible trade that Manny proposed to me. And there you go. Yeah, that's definitely not going to happen. So moving on. So actually, you know what?
Hey, Manny, it's definitely not going to happen, bro.
I thought he liked Drake London. I guess not. He's lying to the people.
Oh no, I'm lying to the people. Actually, no.
What was it? I need to know now. I need to know. What was it?
I'm not lying to the people. It's just the fact that I'm not willing to give you what you actually want. Okay, because actually, let's talk about it, shall we?
It was a trick.
So this nerd, this moron, I'm actually doing.
Be nice. Be nice.
No. We're not going to do this right now. So this person that's been talking all this mess about trying to beat me this week, which is probably not going to happen.
I hope I beat you after.
But I digress. If there's anyone that you got to defeat in this league, it's the goddamn champ. Anyway, moving on.
Man, you act like I'm a 3-time champ, but I'm not going to hate on your relevancy. You're relevant right now. You're popping. I'm not. So go for it. What do you got?
Exactly. This moment. For this very moment.
You're lucky you're my brother, man.
For this full year, come at me. So anyway, moving on. So Manny wants to put in a trade of Rachaad White, who I just talked about right now, and Drake London, and he wants me to trade Christian Watson
0 points.
and David Montgomery.
Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the starter here shortly.
And yet you want him.
You just said Rashid or
yeah. No, hold on.
Full time back.
Okay, no. Hear me out.
Make it sound like it was a horrible trade.
No. Hear me out. Here's the problem with that. You're wanting to pick up a guy who's going to no longer be the guy in Detroit based on your argument, and you're saying, oh, instead it's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. So here's a better question: why do you want David Montgomery? Forget Drake London and Christian Watson, because that's never going to happen. So why did you want David Montgomery?
Because I mean, for the
he's trying to win right now. I would assume.
Yeah. Trying to win right now. You just said that White has.
Mike, don't put words in his mouth right now. That no. Actually, we'll do this for a second. You're muted for a second. I need to talk to Manny right now.
Oh,
no, go ahead. Actually, I'll give you the entire floor. So let's go ahead and tell the entire.
Why am I going to tell you why I want David?
No, go ahead and do it, because it's never going to happen. You're not going to get them. But I'm curious to know why you wanted to do it.
I don't have to tell him.
What was that?
I just think David Montgomery knows his fundamentals more than Gibbs. Gibbs is the better athlete. We've talked about this. Montgomery is more fundamental and can block, so he'll be in the game a little bit more.
But you tried to get me away from from actually not keeping him because of the fact that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the guy.
Yeah, because you know the same thing is going to happen when it's week 6 and you're like, man, David Montgomery is only putting up like 2 points a game. You're going to regret this.
Well, the difference between us two is the fact that I actually
have more running back depth than you on my team. But I just didn't want to say all that.
Wait, what was that?
I have more running back depth than you do. So I'm willing to take a lower end running back to get rid of Drake London.
Well, hold on.
Right now,
as the resident Jahmyr Gibbs owner, the guy who's being talked around in this thing.
Go ahead.
Just to let the people know, like, I can unmute myself whenever I want. So, but I allow Will to think he has that privilege to mute me.
Go ahead.
I'm back now.
Talk to him.
As the resident Jahmyr Gibbs owner, this is interesting to me because it's not really going to matter.
Exactly.
By week 12, it's not going to matter. But for right now, I can understand what he might be trying to do, Will. That's all.
But if he's saying that, his line was his depth.
He heard the line.
No. Your current line right now is your depth. Your running back depth is strong. Is better than mine. Whether it's stronger than not or not, I'm actually perfectly fine with where I am. And on top of all that, the running back that you want to give me was Rachaad White, and you think that's enough?
Yes.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, I'm not no rookie. I'm totally fine with who I have now. I have Saquon Barkley, David Montgomery, Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm totally fine. I'm completely fine with that.
Who has Rashawn White?
What was that?
Who has Rashawn White?
He does.
I don't like Rashawn White, so I might not have taken that trade either. But we'll see.
It's not a horrible trade though. Like it's
not horrible. It's not horrible. I just don't like Rashawn White.
But it's not good.
Oh my gosh, this guy. Look at Mike. I have Mixon, White, Breece Hall, James Cook, Justice Hill. I could afford to get David Montgomery and maybe potentially lose him at the end of the year because that's when Breece Hall is going to be the full-time back. I just don't like Drake.
Wait, did I also mention? Wait, hold on. Let me pull it up.
Watson's dealing with hamstring. So you might not even play him this week either.
Okay, and you also know that I also have Gus Edwards, right?
Okay.
So what did we just argue right now? And you're talking about Justice Hill is going to be the guy. Give me a reason. Actually, there's a good question. Let's take this back to you, Big Manny, Mr. Michigan State. Why is Justice Hill better than Gus Edwards?
Why are you questioning me? Why can't I ask you why Gus Edwards is
okay? Ask me then.
Yeah. Why?
Why what?
Why is Gus Edwards better than Justice Hill?
Because Gus Edwards is a player that actually averages at least 5 yards and beyond throughout his career. His career. Can Justice Hill say that? Just only thing Justice Hill can say right now is I scored 2 touchdowns on week 1. That's all he could say. And on top of all that, on top of all that, how many yards did Justice Hill get last week?
He had 2 touchdowns.
No. That's not the question. How many yards did he have?
That doesn't matter. He had 2 touchdowns.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
That's 12 points.
Yes, it does. Answer the question. Can you?
What do you mean, can you?
Can you answer the question of how many yards he had?
He is the goal line back. Well, that's exactly what I want. The goal line back. Guess who's not going to
But is he?
Why would they play him as the goal line back yesterday or last Sunday when J.K. Dobbins got hurt? Why wasn't Gus Edwards in the goal line back? There's a reason. He's not the goal line back. And Gus Edwards, when he actually plays and is a starter, guess what happens? He gets hurt. So enjoy him maybe 1 week and he'll get hurt. So there you go. Fight me on that because that's how many times Gus Edwards got hurt.
How many times has Justice Hill got hurt?
Every year.
And don't say 0 because it has been done.
So
you're okay. You just made an argument. First of all, if you guys are enjoying this, let us know in the comments. But as far as like injuries and such, your biggest argument is the fact that he gets hurt. He gets hurt. Gus Edwards gets hurt. When Gus Edwards plays, like I said, he's a person that averages 5 yards. 5 yards is insane.
Ooh.
And for another example, the fact that he ended up getting what? Gus Edwards ended up doing 32 yards, actually, I believe, with the limited snaps that he had compared to Justice Hill's 17, 12. It wasn't beyond 20. I can tell you that right now. But the fact that, okay, so the 2 touchdowns that he had, is it sustainable? If you're saying so, then every single game that he does this year, he's going to have 2 touchdowns on average. If he does, then the total amount that he's going to have this year is 34. So is Justice Hill going to have 34 touchdowns this year?
No.
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 So, but he scored. But he scored 2 touchdowns.
Okay, Mike. What is
exactly? Okay, exactly. Okay,
Mike.
So what's the point? Is he going to consistently do that?
Mike, I think. Would you rather have Justice Hill as your 5th running back or Gus Edwards as your 4th running back?
Me?
Yeah.
Off what I saw last week? I don't know. That's a tough question to ask. I mean, if I have Justice Hill as my 5th running back,
5,
then that means I have 4 really good running backs, right?
Yep.
And if I have
one of those running backs, Rachaad White.
Yeah. I'm not really big Rachaad White.
4th running back.
Okay. So it's tough to say. Here's what I'm gonna say. You got and I know people are gonna get mad because I'm gonna play the middle, but it just is what it is. Like,
there's nothing wrong with that.
You both have a point. Like Justin Hill, maybe he's in that Marion Barber role, right? Where like he's just scoring the goal line touchdowns. So Marion Barber never had a bunch of yards, but he had 20 touchdowns one year just for running in at goal line, right? So if you can do that, you're valuable, right? Because every score is 6 points. You got to run for 60 yards to equal that. So, all right. So I mean, I can run for 1 yard and get 6 points, or you got to run for 60 yards. It's like the probability of getting 1 yard is a lot better if you're a goal line dude. 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. So, I mean, I can understand where Manny's coming from. I can also understand where you're coming from with the Gus Edwards thing, because Gus Edwards has historically and in his career been better. We've seen a larger sample size of Gus Edwards. So I understand where you're coming from too. So that's what makes it interesting. It's just which guy you think is going to have a better year this year. And the weird part about it is, like, if we're just going to go by this year, and I love you, Will, but if we're just going to go by this year, I got to side with Manny in a way, because it's about what's happening right now. Last week he had 2 touchdowns. Gus Edwards had 0. So I can understand where Manny's coming from that standpoint. It's whatever though. Pick who you want. It's going to be like heads or tails.
About this. They're going to sign Kareem Hunt, and we're arguing about this.
Yeah, and both your arguments will become invalid at that point.
Exactly.
So it won't matter. But I can definitely see where you're both coming from. But if what happened last week, is going to be an outliner of what's going to happen throughout the season, then I guess you want Justin Hill because he's the one who's going to get you the points. But if I had to pick, I'd probably get Gus Edwards because I've seen him do it before. So I don't know. I'm not the guy to have him.
Let's see the confidence. Let's see the confidence in Manny right here. Start Justice Hill this week.
Why would I start?
He won't do that.
I know he
He won't
won't.
do that.
I know he won't.
Will you start Gus Edwards?
Actually, I would. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Okay.
If I start Gus Edwards, would you start Justice Hill?
Why would I start my fifth when it's your fourth running back?
Why does it matter? You're saying that Justice Hill is
My
better.
running back depth's way
You're
better.
saying that Justice Hill is better. So
Will's got a point at this. That would, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel where Will's coming from on that one. So I don't.
if he's
maybe
that much better than stardom, that's all I'm
Why
saying.
would I sit James Cook or Mixon or Brees Hall for?
to prove a point, I guess. I don't know though.
Can you prove the point?
That would be going beyond like the realm of like doing what you would want to do, and this would be personal at this point. So personally, if you feel you need to do that,
You know what's going to happen? They're both going to get injured next week.
And then Melvin Gordon is going to be the pick of the week next week. That's exactly what's going to happen.
but nah, good debate. Good debate.
No, it was good. It was a good debate, Manny. It was good.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was like 10 minutes. So is there anyone that you like for this coming week? Where I said that we were gonna end this. We were gonna end the show like this. So is there anyone that you like this week coming up?
Ask Mike.
All right, who do I like this week coming up? Let me think about it, man. Who do I like this week coming up? I like two running backs this week coming up. I like Nick Chubb.
Okay.
I like Nick Chubb versus Seattle. I mean, not Seattle. I'm sorry. First Pittsburgh Steelers. What I meant to say. I like Nick Chubb versus the Steelers. I think that he's gonna eat because he's Nick Chubb, and that's what he does. So if you have Nick Chubb on your roster, definitely start him. I think he'll be. I mean, Christian McCaffrey ate last week, right? So we're about to keep feeding on these Steelers, and I think that Nick Chubb will eat this week. And also like Derrick Henry. Who'd you say the Titans were playing again?
Where are the Titans? Oh yeah, the Chargers.
Chargers. Yes,
Chargers.
I like Derrick Henry against the Chargers defense. Raheem Mostert did okay last week, and Derrick Henry's a whole complete different animal. So just for two running backs to throw out there, I like Nick Chubb and I like Derrick Henry. They probably would be my 1 and 2 in my running back rankings, which would probably be different than anyone else's. But I think those two running backs will be good if you have them, start them. But if you have Nick Chubb or Derrick Henry, you're gonna start them. So I'm telling you something you don't know. But I think both those guys will do good. And I also think that I think that Geno will rebound. I think Geno will have a much better week this week than he had last week. So if you have Geno Smith, don't be afraid to go ahead and throw him out there. I think last week was kind of an anomaly. I think the Seahawks underestimated the Rams and they ended up getting beat. So like I said, week 1 can be weird. But with Metcalf and Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think that Geno Smith will be fine to roll out there too.
Actually, since you first talked about two running backs, I think I'm getting the idea that each of us should have a position each, as far as like two players to like.
I like that.
So Mike, you can do running backs. I'll give Manny the option, quarterback or wide receiver, because no one cares about tight ends.
You go ahead and pick, and I'll figure out something. I'll figure out a player.
You'll figure it out. So Mike has running backs. I will do. I think I'll do quarterbacks. Two of them. I mean, I think the more obvious would be like Patrick Mahomes coming back against the Jaguars. Like I'm still a little bit befuddled as far as how the receivers are going to actually get theirs. Sky Moore, I feel, is going to be the one that's going to eventually down the road be the one that's going to be on top when it comes to the Chiefs wide receivers. I'm still kind of grasping on Kadarius Toney to possibly do well. I know that sounds weird, but like I feel that it's still a possibility. And I want to say Jared Goff versus Seattle, but Seattle has a good defense. I'm just looking at the and you know what? I'll just say also on the other side of that Kansas City game, I'm gonna say Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence again. Well, I mean the funnel for Kansas City, I feel, is real. when it comes to scoring, when it comes to the opposite side scoring a bunch of points. And Trevor Lawrence can actually score a bunch of. I feel that with his improved wideouts and things like that, it's very possible that Trevor Lawrence can be a top 5 quarterback this week. Manny, you are in the helms of the wide receivers. Who do you got?
So I got two. Kind of what you were saying with Trevor Lawrence. Kansas City can't defend against the wide receivers. You see what Amon-Ra did. So I'm going to go with their number one. I'm going to go Calvin Ridley as a good pick this week. And I'm also going to go – I'm going to target – I actually get three off the – there's two that did horrible week one that have good matchups this week. It's T. Higgins. Baltimore's secondary is not great. So I think T. Higgins is, like I said, 8 catches, 8 targets. If he catches half of them, that's four targets. If he gets around like 60 yards, there's your points right there. And then I like DJ Moore this week.
You better like DJ Moore this week.
Yeah, DJ Moore, because Tampa Bay's secondary is not great either. You saw what Addison and Justin Jefferson did to them. So
right.
DJ Moore, T. Higgins, and Calvin Ridley.
Okay, sounds good. So that's what we're going to be doing moving forward. Mike got the running backs. I got the quarterbacks. Many on the receivers. Can't talk. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. We argued back and forth. We got people being the man in the middle, and we talked about food. Plenty of food. And I already ate dinner. I'm not getting dessert right now. So for the next up fantasy show, we're gonna see you guys next week. A little bit more content coming this weekend. We're gonna see what our interns actually like. They might like the same thing. Who knows? Maybe we'll figure that out. Sunday, we are doing the YouTube show, not Instagram. We're gonna be doing a live YouTube for injuries, as far as who's going to be in, who's going to be out. If you also want some start and sit advice, pay attention, Manny. Then swing on by over to the YouTube show, and me and Mike are going to be there 8:15, bright and early. Probably going to have some coffee because we're going to need it. 4, Mike T, what up? What up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I'm definitely going to need the coffee for sure. But if anyone who tuned in last week, I thought it was pretty cool. It was nice to actually kind of interact with the fans. It was really dope when Manny joined on with us. We were able to get some extra fans, some people who he brought over from his world. So it was really, really cool. So I really hope that you guys will take the time to tune into that. It was our first time, so if it's a little rough, please excuse us. We'll get better each and every week. But it was kind of cool just to kind of go over, different situations and scenarios right before game day. And the advice that you guys were asking for, it was kind of cool. I'd never interacted with fans in that way. So, or not necessarily fans, but just with fellow, fantasy football players or owners, managers in that way. So it was cool. It was cool. I enjoyed it. So look forward to doing that this Sunday with you guys as well. And also look forward to hopefully seeing my squad. I'm going to break away from fantasy for right now and go back to straight full on Cowboy fanboy. But I'm looking forward to seeing my squad hopefully do damage and I take out the other half of New York this Sunday. So good luck to everyone in your fantasy teams. Like I said, hopefully we're giving you content that you enjoy, and hopefully you can use this information and it's beneficial for you in your fantasy leagues. I've actually noticed some dudes in our fantasy league are like picking up the exact same dudes we're talking about. So I do think that we're making waves. I do think people are listening, and I just want to thank you guys for rocking with us.
4, Manny be a Manny.
Yeah, I do want to say thanks for everyone to listening. This is what we love to do, is just come in here and BS. So I don't know. I really enjoy it. I know Will does. I know Mike does. On Sunday, we're going to see the Cowboys take out the rest of New York. They do, but they're not even in New York, just like the Jets. It's really just Buffalo. So I hope I tick off some of you New Yorkers that are Giants and Jets fans, because the real New York team is in Buffalo. Mike Lou would appreciate that, right? But yeah, so we're going to see pure domination with the Cowboys, maybe the 49ers as well. No, I know they're probably going to win as well. What I'm hoping is undefeated going into October 8th when we play the 49ers. So that'll be a fun show.
It's going to be the best show ever. I'm actually kind of begging for it right now. Now that you mentioned it. For your boy Will, and just like what these two said, thank you to each and every one that listens to the show, that watches the show, that follows us on all of our platforms, just like YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. I really don't do much on TikTok. I just post all the memes that I do on there. So follow us on there. Same thing as Instagram. Follow us on Next Up Fantasy. Generally, it's always a blast talking to these two, even if we argue and agree and do this and that. It's the most fun thing. This is my therapy to you, from you guys, and it's such a blast. So you guys have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, whenever you guys are listening, whenever you guys are watching. See you guys on Sunday. Me and Mike T. You guys take care. Enjoy.